I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. And so we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. And so we've come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. This sweltering summer of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until that is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963 is not an end, but a beginning. Those who hoped that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. There will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges. But that is something that I must say to my people who stand on the one threshold which leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protests to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to a distrust of all white people. For many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. And they have come to realize that their freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone. And as we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back. There are those who are asking the devotees of civil rights, when will you be satisfied?
This isn't just another church event. This is Impartation Conference, March 13th through 15th in Atlanta, Georgia. And this time, it's personal.
We are building a safe space where you can love God without fear, a space where you're not judged, but seen, heard, and honored for who you are.
This is your moment to grow, not just in spirit, but life. The clarity, the shift, the alignment is already happening.
And those dreams you buried, we're reviving them. We're breaking mental caps, tearing down limits, and helping you step into the version of you that was always possible.
This is more than a conference. It's a homecoming for your soul. Break free, grow deep, dream bold. Join us March 13th to 15th at the Renaissance Atlanta Airport Gateway Hotel. Register now at impartationconference.org.
Safe Space, refuge for growth and healing. Want to be connected to all that Safe Space has to offer? Join our email community. Stay in the loop with inspirational insights and updates. Join our email community and connect with like-minded individuals on the path to self-discovery. Sign up now.
Find your tribe in a safe, supportive space. Join the Safe Space private community and connect with others who get it. We're waiting for you. Stay connected wherever you are with lives and video drops. Text VTerrillHill to 833-458-3658 for instant updates and powerful insights. Join the text community now. Curious about what's next? Book an intuitive tarot reading with VTerrillHill and get the clarity you need. Your future awaits. Heal from within and transform your life. Schedule a soul healing consultation and take the first step towards wholeness. Start your journey today.
Click the Linktree link inside of the description box connected to this video for all of what the Safe Space universe has to offer.
My people, my people, my people, my people, my people, my people. How are y'all doing today? Welcome to Safe Space Live. Happy Monday. And most of all, happy Martin Luther King Day. I had not checked since a couple of hours ago, but as of a couple of hours ago, the president of the United States of America did not give any words for MLK Day. And if I could be wrong, but if he did, I missed them. As well, you all should know that they removed the MLK Day free access to federal parks on MLK Day. And I think they were trying to add another day, a Donald Trump Day or something like that. I think it's important that we talk about Martin Luther King because we currently have an administration that's trying to erase Martin Luther King. You can say whiny, whiny, poo, poo, or what have you, or you can accept that a federal holiday was voted into law and not one president should be able to decide the legitimacy of that holiday or not. And if said president, whether Democrat or Republican, is wanting to choose the legitimacy of this presidency, then it begs the question, why? Why? It's not harming or hurting anything. It's the celebration of an American citizen that wanted unity. Why such disdain for this holiday? Why are they, in response to, do you believe or accept, or are you in alignment with the Martin Luther King holiday? Your suggestion is there's too many federal holidays. So why, President Trump? Give us a reason. Give us a reason. Why is it the one holiday that celebrates a moral transitioning of the entire country? Not just black folks or white folks. It was a corral of folks that came together for this moral transition, this moral reckoning and christening. Why are we debating whether or not we should honor this holiday or not? Hello. And so you might have ideological differences with me. You might have political differences than me. You more than likely have theological differences than me. But I think we should all agree that a federal holiday that's been a federal holiday should not be on the president's chopping block. There are a lot of things going on other than Martin Luther King celebration. Hello, somebody. All right. So today we're going to be talking about Dr. King's book, Where Do We Go From Here, Chaos or Community? We're going to be talking about this book today in juxtaposition to where we are in 2026. It's the letter is from 1967, and we're in 2026. And the question is, has America learned her lesson? Was the job of Martin Luther King done? We're going to do a little critiquing as well. Was Martin's dream more of a fantasy than a reality? But we're going to critique in reverence, and we're going to critique in honor. Now, let me just put this out there. I don't care if Martin Luther King was a slut or a whore or was addicted to nicotine. That don't make me no never mind. I don't care. Okay. Yeah, listen, there ain't nothing like a good old cigarette. Trust me, I know. So that's neither here. That's neither here nor there. All right. Do me a favor before we get started and like, share, subscribe, and comment. We're about to jump straight into this. How are y'all doing today? I hope y'all are well. Trophy Wife 9822. Thank you for becoming a member. We'll be in the private community immediately after today's show. Hey, just being me. How are you? Angel Heart. Let's see here. Recash, how are you? John _Bogo, blessed be he. Absolutely. How are you? First Class Lady Boutique, how are you? LaQuisha, how are you? Lotus Egyptian Flower, how are you? All right, so let's jump into it. Are y'all ready? Now, I'm going to say this. I like to try to be as transparent as possible. I don't know enough about what we're talking about today. So I'm going to be more dependent upon my notes than I normally am because I want to be accurate, okay? So y'all bear with me. All right, let's get into it. Dr. King writes a book, Where Do We Go From Here, Chaos or Community? He writes it from the aftershock of civil rights, and he asks what comes next when laws change and our conditions don't. So, all right, laws have changed. Essentially, we've gotten or we're getting what we want. And if I had to put Dr. King's words in my own words, he says, we're still thirsty. I thought I could have, this is my words now, I could assume that to desegregate, equality, fair voting rights would have satiated the thirst for the marginalized American citizen, and now I find we're still lacking. Okay, chaos is chaos is what happens when inequality stays put and trust collapses. Community is what happens when a society is rebuilt around dignity and shared responsibility. And basically, Dr. King was saying, now we are at a point of two roads. One road is chaos, where inequality stays put and the trust we build collapse. Or the other road is community, where we rebuild around dignity and shared responsibility. Now, I was not around during those times, but in 2026, I'm almost made to believe that America chose chaos. And if you disagree with me, please put it in the comments, because what is being birthed in 2026 is certainly not rebuilding around dignity and shared responsibility, but inequality and a lack of trust. Dr. King was shifting the conversation from access to outcomes. All right, now we can share schools. Now we can share restaurants. Now we can share water fountains. But the outcome is still the same. A system that does not want equality for the black skin in America. He is saying rights without a livable life will eventually produce social unraveling. And this is the kind of conversation that we've been having from a different scope these last couple of weeks, especially when we start comparing and contrasting immigrants that come over here versus Black Americans that were born here and raised here. I don't want to get lost in that today, but I do want to say this. You would have to be a fool, and I'm not Martin Luther King. I don't want peace. You would have to be a fool as a white person to think that your average black person has been offered an equal, livable life. Now, the interesting part about this is most racist white people, whether conscious or unconscious, don't realize that when they push racism, they solidify classism. Okay. My dear cracker, it does not benefit you to propagate your racism, because the close brother, the twin brother to racism is classism. So if you are white, racist, and poor, guess what? You now, though you've had the privilege of being white in America, are on the same page as me. Because I want to remind those of you that think the Martin Luther King holiday is some nefarious holiday, that Martin Luther King was evolving not just for the rights of black people, but for the rights of the economically disenfranchised, for the rights of Palestine. Because I cannot get people to understand that when one marginalized group suffers, they all essentially will suffer if they are not suffering. If you are racist, keep it in the four walls of your trailer, because it is not benefiting you for your wallet, because you cannot harm me without harming you. West Virginia. All right. So, y'all make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment. And welcome to Safe Space Live. My name is VTerrillHill. Anywho, Dr. King was warning that America can congratulate itself on progress while quietly reproducing the same harm in updated forms. Now, there's two things I want to say. Number one, I understand the lethargy of Black Americans as it relates to protest and marching, as immigrants are being harshly mistreated by ICE. I get it. I understand it. I ain't got no beef with that because I have that same lethargy. But I also want to say at the same time that we need to keep our eyes and ears open, because when one marginalized group is illegally mistreated, it makes ways for other marginalized groups to be illegally mistreated. So though I do not want to give any kind of message like we need to be on the street, I think Minnesota's doing a great job without us. I mean, honestly, Minnesota is killing it, no pun intended. They are doing really well. At the same time, we might not be active, but we cannot turn a blind eye. We must watch the scale of justice in America, lest, which would be a very bad move at this point if you ask me, lest America decide to want to take a couple of steps backwards. All right? Now, here's the question that I want to ask you all today. If the law says equal, but your life says fragile, what kind of equality is that? What does community require beyond good intentions? I remember Ubering. When I first moved to Atlanta, I used to Uber. Picked up a white guy from Fogo de Chao, however you pronounce it. He got in the back seat of my car. He looks around. He says, man, I guess it was his first time in Atlanta. Man, there are Black people everywhere, man. Black people are like doing good too. I don't know where he was from. Yeah, you're right. I agree. So then he went to the whole, well, if everybody's doing good, what's the problem? So me, in wisdom, asked the question. I said, women in the workplace, are women more free than they've ever been in their life? He said, yes. I said, is it true that women are still underpaid in workspaces? He said, yes. And then I said, well, what's the difference with Black people then? He said, oh. If you are a woman and your voice is not helping to balance the weight of justice in America, you are self-sabotaging. And it was really easy for this white man to understand the inequality in the workplace with women, but he could not get around his mind the inequality of the Black American. Because freedom does not mean equality. And that is why Dr. King wrote the book. Where do we go from here? Community or chaos? Because without equality, it leads to an unraveling society. 2026. Now, it's crazy because I got to talk to my white brothers and sisters. I don't think y'all realize that by your voice not being in this cauldron of social justice, you are harming yourself. Because at the end of the day, let me tell you what's worse than being Black. Let me tell you what's worse than being Black in America. Being poor. Uh-oh. I know you might feel like because you're white, you get a pass. But you better ask Clarence Thomas. There are certain privileges, O.J. Simpson, that those with money have that you, my white brother or sister, don't have if you don't have money. So I know it's real snarky to be like, oh, the victim again. Y'all are being victim. You're ignorant. And I don't care if you're offended or not. but you're ignorant and you don't even know you're ignorant. It is, okay, hear me. It is impossible. I want y'all to hear me clearly. It is impossible for the Black American to succeed, to do well in this country, and all other classes of white people not do well. By virtue of the Black person doing well, you help yourself. Now, I won't even get on the fact that most, oh, and thank you so much for those whoever sent the $10. Thank you so much. I'm not going to get on the fact that there are more white people on welfare, on food stamps, than Black people. So you're using these tropes. You're lazy. You have the victim complex. Just get off your butt and work. As if to punish me, and I ain't never touched a food stamp before. Ain't never. Ain't never. I ain't never touched. I don't even know what one looked like. You understand what I'm saying? All right. All right. What we're going to do, if y'all enjoying this, drop 3 green hearts in the comments. If you're upset at what I'm saying, drop 3 red hearts in the comments. I'm just so interested in what we got here. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to listen to some more of Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech. And then we're going to talk about in segment 2 what Dr. King got right. Now, in segment 3, we're going to talk about what Dr. King got wrong. Okay? And then segment 4, we're going to talk some more. So we got a good show today. Don't y'all go anywhere. We'll be right.
This isn't just another church event. This is Impartation Conference, March 13th through 15th in Atlanta, Georgia. And this time, it's personal.
We are building a safe space where you can love God without fear, a space where you're not judged, but seen, heard, and honored for who you are.
This is your moment to grow, not just in spirit, but life. The clarity, the shift, the alignment is already happening.
And those dreams you buried, we're reviving them. We're breaking mental caps, tearing down limits, and helping you step into the version of you that was always possible.
This is more than a conference. It's a homecoming for your soul. Break free, grow deep, dream bold. Join us March 13th to 15th at the Renaissance Atlanta Airport Gateway Hotel. Register now at impartationconference.org.
Safe Space, refuge for growth and healing. Want to be connected to all that Safe Space has to offer? Join our email community. Stay in the loop with inspirational insights and updates. Join our email community and connect with like-minded individuals on the path to self-discovery. Sign up now.
Find your tribe in a safe, supportive space. Join the Safe Space private community and connect with others who get it. We're waiting for you. Stay connected wherever you are with lives and video drops. Text VTerrillHill to 833-458-3658 for instant updates and powerful insights. Join the text community now. Curious about what's next? Book an intuitive tarot reading with VTerrillHill and get the clarity you need. Your future awaits. Heal from within and transform your life. Schedule a soul healing consultation and take the first step towards wholeness. Start your journey today.
Click the Linktree link inside of the description box connected to this video for all of what the Safe Space universe has to offer.
Some of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality. We can never be satisfied. As long as our body is heavy with the fatigue of travel, cannot gain lodging in the motels of the highways and the hotels of the cities. We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro's basic mobility is from a smaller ghetto to a larger one. We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their selfhood and robbed of their dignity by signs stating for whites only. We cannot be satisfied as long as a Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and a Negro in New York believes he has nothing for which to vote. No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. I am not unmindful that some of you have come here out of great trials and tribulations. Some of you have come fresh from narrow jail cells. Some of you have come from areas where your quest for freedom left you battered by the storms of persecution and staggered by the winds of police brutality. You have been the veterans of creative suffering. Continue to work with a faith that unearned suffering is redemptive. Go back to Mississippi. Go back to Alabama. Go back to South Carolina. Go back to Georgia. Go back to Louisiana. Go back to the slums and ghettos of our northern cities, knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friend, so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream.
Thank you so much for rocking with us. We are back. That we're still going to be playing excerpts of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech throughout the remainder of the show. I'm going to give you a couple of announcements, and then we're going to get into segment 2, what Dr. King got right in his letter from 1967. What do we go? Where do we go from here? But before I do that, let me do this real quick. If you want to be notified when I come live, text VTerrillHill to 833-458-3658. Text VTerrillHill to 833-458-3658. If you guys want to support this platform, if you are enjoying what you are hearing, the Cash App is SafeSpaceVTH, PayPal and Zelle is info@VTerrillHill.com, and the Venmo is at VTerrillHill. One of you have given. If I can get 9 of you to send $10, it'll help us reach our goal. Cash App SafeSpaceVTH, PayPal, Zelle, info@VTerrillHill.com, and the Venmo is at VTerrillHill. P.O. Box 221, Wissett, North Carolina 27377 is the P.O. Box. Okay, I'll be live in the after show tonight. Clearly, the after show has been hot. We got all kind of eyes on us. So if you want to be a part of the after show, it's $2.99. Click the Linktree link in the video description box of the video you're watching now. Unless you're watching on Instagram, Twitch, or Instagram or Twitch, go to Facebook or YouTube for that. All right. JoinSafeSpace.com is how you join my spirituality and consciousness community. If you're hearing my voice for the first time, and there's something about my voice that is making your spirit move a little bit, you might want to come over there and join me for 4 days for free. I teach every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we pray and prophesy every Saturday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, all right? Email me, info@VTerrillHill.com, and lastly, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Like, share, subscribe, and comment, all right? All right, y'all. I want to read this real quick. What does it say? My heart always feels so full, but so heavy at the same time listening to him. You know, Fran Drew, it's interesting enough that as I was watching this along with you guys, I started to try to understand the weight that was on the participants of this march, of that gathering, whether they were white, black, or anywhere in between, because what they were going through was counterculture. They were risking their lives, their careers, maybe their families and friends for what they believed in. So there is a heaviness that I feel when I listen to that speech. All right, let's get to part 2. What did Dr. King get right and why it worked? All right. And remember, segment 3, we're going to come back and talk about what I feel like wasn't gotten right. I don't know if that's the right English or not. What else? All right. One of the things that Dr. King got right was strategic nonviolence. It created a moral contrast that made state and mob violence undeniable, especially when seen by the nation. And I know there was a lot of back and forth with some cohorts of Dr. King on whether or not violence should be a thing or not. Well, in this case, nonviolence was not a submission, it was a strategy. And I am 100% for nonviolence when it is part of the strategy. And now, when am I against nonviolence? Because there's a part of me that is against it. When there's no strategy, when we're just trying to be politically correct. We don't want to upset the system. We don't want to look bad in front of them people. That is where I don't care about nonviolence. Burn it all down. Y'all didn't hear me. Burn it all down. Period, point blank. But in this case, Dr. King's stance for nonviolence in context of this conversation was not steeped in weakness. It was a strategy. Now, what was the strategy? The strategy was to simply march, make sure the cameras were out and the news outlets were filming and taking pictures, and then capture law enforcement and the government violently beat peaceful protesters. And it not only moved the citizens of this nation, but it got across the waters. And other countries started putting pressure on America, saying, now hold on, that ain't right. All these people are marching. Why are you sicking dogs on them and beating them with batons? So the idea was to expose the system by doing opposite of the system. The system was violent, so we'll be nonviolent. So again, there is nothing wrong with nonviolence when it's a strategy, not compliance. Should those people busting them doors on Sunday and interrupt that church service? Yes. Period. All right. Now, this one is important, and some of you might disagree with what I'm about to say next, and I'm open for the conversation as long as it's respectful. Number two, what did Dr. King get right? Mass organizing was disciplined and sustained. They were very organized. Boycotts, marches, direct action, and economic pressure forced negotiation and legislative response. King's leadership scaled because he could translate the message across faith, labor, students, and moderates without losing the central demand for dignity. Okay? In other words, what made Dr. King's message and leadership work was he had the ability to be a universal voice. He could speak to all faiths and communities. He could speak to them in the gutter and them in the government. He communicated. I need to say something. Just because there are people, okay, please hear me, y'all. Sometimes we judge the efficacy of leaders by how much dust they're stirring. They didn't stand up and make a ruckus. There are some leaders, some allies that are meant to be in the system and peaceably operate within the system to make change. Everybody can't be a Malcolm X. Everybody can't burn the CNN building down. Somebody has to be in Congress. Somebody has to be on the Supreme Court. Somebody has to be a state senator. And a lot of times what we do is we render voices that are operating for us properly void because they're not raw. And what you don't know is There was a piece of legislation that could have got passed, but they voted no. So we got to honor all types of protest. Let me say this. Barack Obama, being a black man in the presidency, having a black nuclear family in the presidency, was a protest in and of itself. And what I want to do is do not allow ignorance on both sides, extreme right and extreme left, to erase the power of representation because he didn't scream as loud as the volunteer at the museum. It was not his job to scream. It was not his job to help burn down buildings. It was his job to legislate, and that he did. From economy to foreign affairs and everything in between. And then there were times that he just didn't show up as a president, he showed up as a black president. One of the things that burnt Barack Obama was when he said that Trayvon Martin could have been his son. White folks went, I don't know, sometimes white folk get on my nerves. The president of the United States has a moment of empathy. And that one statement for a lot of people is the reason why America is where it's at right now. Because there's a lot of people that say Barack Obama is the president that brought division to America. And they use Trayvon Martin could have been my son as the basis for that statement, that accusation. I don't understand why there's so much white vitriol in America. You know, as a black American, I'm pretty happy. When I hang around other black folks, whether it's my family or friends, or if I'm on the phone in our private community in about an hour or so, we're having a good time. We're laughing, we're cutting up. And it seems like the happier we get, the madder what some white folks get. Can y'all please tell us why y'all so mad? Golly. Like what? Why are y'all so upset? You got what you wanted. You got the trifecta. You got the executive. Heck, you got the quartet, or whatever the four is. You got the Supreme Court, the presidency, the Senate, and the House. You got everything you wanted, and you're still pissed off. You wanted a president that was tough on immigration. You got that. Why are you still mad? Like, for those that have ears to hear and won't get lost in the sauce, think about it. Why are you upset? You didn't like DEI, got rid of it. You didn't like affirmative action, got rid of it. You didn't like abortion, got rid of it. And you're still pissed off. What is wrong? You were never happy. That's why white men are more apt to kill themselves than any other demographic. You're so used to getting your way, you act like spoiled brats. Wherein people like me, my ancestors had to find, develop, curate, culture, joy. In spite of. Good God, I'm glad we got it. You know, black folks ain't tripping. All this going on in the country, black folks are not moved. In general, now, is it burdensome? Yes. Am I disappointed in my country? Absolutely. But am I no ways tired? No. Why? Why? I'm going to get my vaccines. I'm going to enjoy the privilege of being an American. If I can't afford it, I won't buy it. And if I can't afford it, I will. We done already been here before. Y'all ain't got no, if you are white, especially if you're white and poor, how you let that happen? Okay, stop, Vincent. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But how did you drop your own ball? You made the rules. You made the game. You set the tone. You set the day and the time that the rules that you made by the game you created, and you still losing? Anywho, I told you I'm not Martin Luther King. I'm not that universal voice. Now, when it comes to spirituality, I'm the universal voice. When it comes to this, I don't know what to tell you. You have to go to another channel. Anywho, King's book shows he was already expanding his mission from civil rights to human rights, poverty, jobs, housing, and the moral sickness of a nation that could fund war but not justice. In other words, Martin Luther King was evolving in his message. Now, I want to say this, as I said in the first segment. This was not a message, Martin Luther King's message, that is, for Black people only. This was a message for America. So I want to suggest again, white people that are economically disenfranchised, do you know you are cutting your nose to spite your face when you push racism? And let's just put this out there. White people that are poor, do you not understand that your economic freedom is in the policy of the Democrat? Are you not aware that every time, every time, in this current presidency, while the average American have lost wealth, the elite and rich has grown exponentially in wealth? By facts. You don't have to like my skin, my tone. I could be too loud, too sarcastic for you, but that you cannot debate. The rich has gotten exponentially richer in this economy, while the poor has gotten poorer in this economy, ran by a Republican president. Now let's talk history. When a Republican president takes office, soon come recession. History will tell you that the one thing a Democratic, just look at the facts, man. Don't come worry me. It's factual. Okay? Now, again, you don't have to like my tone or my sarcasm or the volume of my voice, but the fact is the fact that this country is better off economically when you have a Democratic president with Democratic policies. Poor white people are the knives, rather own the knives that stab them in their own back when they push racism in this country. Period. Point blank. You would do yourself a favor, my economically disenfranchised white person, to align with the Black agenda. Even I had a client today, and I'm not going to tell it. I can't tell it. But the client had a choice: do the hard thing and suffer, or do the hard thing and kiss a little tail, and then it ain't so hard no more. And the client would have rather did the harder thing that caused more suffering, because the client didn't want to just kiss a little butt and get off the hook. And, and this client is an adult. They have agency. They can do what they want. I'm no judgment here. But that's how I see a lot of poor white people. They would rather, out of spite, align with the harder thing that does not serve them than to align with black people whom's agenda will serve them. And then let me say this, and then I'm gonna keep on going. Did y'all see in what happened in Minnesota? What's the guy, Jake Lang? I forgot his name. Jake Lang or somebody went to Minnesota to, I guess, have a protest and burn the Quran. And them Minnesotans are crazy. Like, Minnesota's that girl. And you know who the guy was that saved Jake Lang from this mob? A black man. Black people, we have no choice but to carry an innate empathy in us. All right, let's keep going. Dr. King understood backlash as a feature, not a surprise. And he warned that progress would be met with resistance unless community became organized and durable. All right. All right. All right. We're going to take another break. And then when we come back, how long have I been up here? All right. It's not too bad. Now, I'm not doing too bad. We're going to take another break. And then we come back. We're going to talk about what Dr. King did right. And then we're going to, did wrong. But this is a reverent critique. This critique that I'm going to give in the next segment is a reverent critique. All right. So don't y'all go anywhere. And then if I feel like, because y'all know I'm going to run out of gas soon enough, we're going to talk about the strategy that would have worked beyond policy change. All right? Because you can change the rules of a place, but not change the culture, and it can be just as toxic. Don't y'all go anywhere. We will be right back.
This isn't just another church event. This is Impartation Conference, March 13th through 15th in Atlanta, Georgia. And this time, it's personal.
We are building a safe space where you can love God without fear, a space where you're not judged, but seen, heard, and honored for who you are.
This is your moment to grow, not just in spirit, but life. The clarity, the shift, the alignment is already happening.
And those dreams you buried, we're reviving them. We're breaking mental caps, tearing down limits, and helping you step into the version of you that was always possible.
This is more than a conference. It's a homecoming for your soul. Break free, grow deep, dream bold. Join us March 13th to 15th at the Renaissance Atlanta Airport Gateway Hotel. Register now at impartationconference.org.
Safe Space, refuge for growth and healing. Want to be connected to all that Safe Space has to offer? Join our email community. Stay in the loop with inspirational insights and updates. Join our email community and connect with like-minded individuals on the path to self-discovery. Sign up now.
Find your tribe in a safe, supportive space. Join the Safe Space private community and connect with others who get it. We're waiting for you. Stay connected wherever you are with lives and video drops. Text VTerrillHill to 833-458-3658 for instant updates and powerful insights. Join the text community now. Curious about what's next? Book an intuitive tarot reading with VTerrillHill and get the clarity you need. Your future awaits. Heal from within and transform your life. Schedule a soul healing consultation and take the first step towards wholeness. Start your journey today.
Click the Linktree link inside of the description box connected to this video for all of what the Safe Space universe has to offer.
Dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls and sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. Every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, my country tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride.
Welcome to Safe Space Live. Hi, my name is VTerrillHill. I hope you're enjoying yourself and enjoying the dialogue that come with it. If you want to be notified when I come live, text VTerrillHill to 833-458-3658. Text VTerrillHill to 833-458-3658 to be notified when I come live. I always ask if 10 people could share $10 with me to help this platform. And if you're one of those 9, because one have already done it, the Cash App is SafeSpaceVTH. The PayPal and Zelle is info@VTerrillHill.com, and the Venmo is at VTerrillHill. SafeSpaceVTH is the Cash App. Info@VTerrillHill.com is the PayPal and Zelle, and the at VTerrillHill is the Venmo. P.O. Box 221, Worcester, North Carolina 27377. Don't be sending no MLK packages. We don't need that in 2026. But if you want me to, that's so stupid. But if you want me to open something live, I always open gifts live in front of you guys. That's my P.O. Box. Feel free to send. All right. We will be live in the private community in less than an hour. We will be live in the private community. It's always fun over there. I'm thankful for all of the new eyes that's over there. It's $2.99 a month. Click the Linktree link in the video description box of the video you're watching now. Unless you're on Twitch or Instagram, come to Facebook and our YouTube for that Linktree link. I teach every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. I pray, prophesy every Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And my spirituality and consciousness community, we have had a ball over there. It has really been such an enlightening, empowering, and strengthening conversations over there. You can join 4 days for free at www.joinsafespace.com. All right, email info@VTerrillHill.com. Last but not least, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. All right. All right, now let's get into, it's not the last segment, but it's probably going to be my last segment because I'm tired now. All right. What did Dr. King get wrong? Yikes. If I can be honest with you guys, I have not always, well, how can I say this? I felt like, and for the most part feel like, that Dr. King's dream was a bit short-sighted. Now, granted, he started writing this book as he realized that it was going to take more work than what he originally thought. That's my words. It was going to take more work than he originally thought. So I do have some critiques of Dr. King and the movement. All right. Here we go. Number one, desegregation was necessary because segregation. Oh, thank you so much. I just need 8 of you guys now to give. Thank you so much. Desegregation was necessary, but segregation was an enforced caste system. Removing the legal cage mattered. So we can go back and forth on whether we should have been pushing for segregation or equality. But regardless of that, we needed to delegitimize segregation. We needed to make it illegal to segregate. Even if we stayed drinking out of our own fountains by choice, this issue needed to be dealt with. The thing is, integration did not automatically deliver protection, wealth, safety, or institutional control. And this is what I want to say to my Black brothers and sisters that are more white-centered. It is okay. That is your prerogative. That's your agency as a human. But you need to know that proximity does not equal power. So the idea was, if we were allowed in white spaces, then we could have access to the power and the privilege of the white person. What we found was they allowed us in white spaces without changing the ideal of who the Black person was. So we still received mistreatment, bigotry, bias, racism, and inequality. We just had access now to the space. Okay? I'm going to say it again. Proximity is not power. I don't care if you date a white person, marry a white person, only have white friends, go to a PWI. Your proximity will never be real power. At the very best, it will be positional power, meaning you have power because of a specific position, but it is never personal power. Anywho, America was more willing to allow access than to fund repair. It is easier to open a door than to rebuild a neighborhood. Okay, you want access? Great, you can come. We're still gonna make it harder for you to buy homes. We're still gonna charge you higher interest rates. We're still gonna block you out of the cheap contracts or the better contracts, according to what side of the fence you're on. But sure, you can have access. Come on, it's not illegal for you to join us, but I don't know how you're gonna get over this hump that we just created. But yeah, sure, go ahead. Now, mind you, at the same time, Black neighborhoods are being tortured and burnt down. You don't want us in your neighborhoods, and you're not happy with us in our own neighborhoods. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, person who just gave. We now have reached our goal. Thank you very, very much. God bless all of you. Thank you so much. So, number 3, rights on paper without enforcement created a loophole culture. Discrimination could evolve from explicit to subtle and still produce the same outcomes. Now, here is where the real harm happened, y'all. And I feel very passionate about this. A real cost of that era is that many Black institutions were weakened through displacement, defunding, and leadership removal, while whiteness remained centered as the default standard for normal. So, yes, we were allowed proximity, but it was at the cost of our identity. Because we were allowed to come into a space that was not centered on humanity, but it was centered on whiteness. And I'm not going to fault Dr. King for that, because desegregation was imperative for this country. But when we got on the other side of the tracks, we realized, oh my God, there ain't no power, just proximity. The core critique is not that Dr. King's diagnosis failed. It did not. The critique is that America accepted the optics of progress and resisted the cost of equity. And these movements did not secure enough protected infrastructure to survive that resistance. So you take your black children into a school with a white teacher whom is upset because she don't want to teach black children, and now you got abuse, neglect, miseducation. And so I can appreciate what Dr. King did. Now, granted, he was assassinated as he was evolving. And perhaps if he was not assassinated, this probably today wouldn't be a federal holiday, because Dr. King was slowly but surely about to start breaking the rules and making people upset. And let me say this real quick. Because someone put on here, and I self-segregate, question mark. And that is something that I've been battling with in my personal critique of Dr. King. Regardless, segregation needed to be made illegal. But I think that I would love to have a conversation with Dr. King now and ask, what would you do different now that you see the outcome? Because even down to our churches are whitewashed. I'm so disappointed in how we have centered whiteness, even in the diaspora wars. Am I a little pissy about these diaspora wars? Yes. But is the root of these diaspora wars white-centered? Yes. I'm upset that I can't just go to any one given black church and hear black music. I'm not guaranteed a black worship style or a black style of preaching. All right, let me, because I feel like I'm about to go on a tangent. So let me, hold on. Here is my thing. Dr. King's message is real and it's true. If we do not come together as a community, we are going to birth more and more chaos. If you are poor, no matter what color you are, respectfully, please get a clue. If you are poor and you're okay with what they're doing with trying to gut the Affordable Care Act, I want to tell you you're ignorant, And here's what I want you to do. I want you to do the study, look it up, and prove me wrong. I want to tell you that you are harming, if you are poor and you're okay with the big, beautiful bill, I want to tell you that you might feel like it's right, and what you don't know is it's not. If you are a part of any kind of marginalized, if you are anything but a white man, and you are comfortable, happy, ecstatic about what's going on with ICE right now, if you think that Miss Good, the lady who was needlessly murdered, is an outlier, you're being deceived. You're being deceived. The only exempt demo in this country that can afford what's going on in this country right now is white, rich men. And if you cannot read the writing on the wall, I hope you didn't tweet a Martin Luther King quote today, because you missed the point. And let me just say this. Y'all white folks that's listening to me, this on y'all. This one is on y'all. This one is on y'all. We have, as black people, always been on them streets, always marching and speaking up, moving the goalpost to a better position. We have voted time after time. The Democratic vote is the universal vote for the average American. And time after time, the number says that black people have voted for the average American. And you allowed a rich mega pastor to scream abortion. You can't even have children. And you cannot afford the medical treatment to have them. And you are ripping and raving about abortion. You're being bamboozled. You're being used. And we can see it. We've had no choice but to be hypervigilant in this country. And the message for Martin, the message that Martin Luther King gave was not just for black people, it was for us all. But you got to understand, you are not exempt in this one. And keep on. Keep right on. Keep right on. I sort of low-key hope it burn a little bit for y'all, so that you never, ever make this ignorant mistake that y'all have made with Donald Trump. I hope that white people suffer a little bit, so that you can truly understand that your whiteness, your skin, does not give you the privilege to play around with votes. And it's not just MAGA and Republicans. No. It's people on my side too, these ignorant leftists who TikTok protest, turn off their camera, and go get a venti latte from Starbucks, unbothered. All the while, black and brown people have to make sure that white privileged people don't burn down this country. America has a white people problem. Who is doing all this sex trafficking? White men. Look at the white man vote. The white man vote never served this country ever. White men vote start wars. White men vote make decisions horrible for women. And we got a bunch of old white men playing Monopoly with our lives. And you on Twitter talking about, ooh, on the libs, on the libs. You're ignorant and you don't even know it. You're deceived and don't have a clue. You are ruining this country. And the history books will say so. And your seed will hate your guts. That's all I got. All right. Okay. Right, exactly. Willing to pay for a Starbucks coffee, but can't afford a prescription. I never forget, I was talking to my sister. I'm going to say this and I'm going to stop. We were talking about what happens if they repeal the Affordable Care Act, AKA Obamacare. And her son, my sister's a super mom. She loves her boys. Well, with Obamacare, children can stay on the adult's policy until the age of 26. 20, something like that, right? And I said, Van, you know, if they repeal Obamacare, your boys got to come off your insurance policy. She said, huh? And I looked it up and showed her. Now, my sister was not against Obamacare. I was just letting her know the gravity of this decision that the government was trying to make. You out there scrounging every penny to make sure your child with asthma can finish school and get an education because he was going to be the first kid in your family to get a college degree, my white brother and sister. And you're so thankful that Billy Bob can get his asthma pump and asthma treatment because it just so happens that your union job warehouse husband has great insurance. And you up there hooting and hollering, repeal Obamacare, and don't even know your child need it. Your child will have to get a job or pay out the wazoo for that great union insurance that he or she has until they graduate. You are harming yourself. Do you think they're going to go through the food stamp system and be like, okay, well, black people, we're going to cut their stamps, and white people, we're going to keep theirs? Do you think you matter to them? You don't. You just don't see it yet, but you will. Remember this day. All right. Ooh, it's 102. Ooh, I looked down, there's 128 y'all on here. I hope this is friendly fire. I'm not sure. Golly. Anywho, we're going to get on out of here. We're going to be in the private community at 11:15. 11:15, private community, all right? If you want to be notified, well, excuse me, hi, welcome to Safe Space Live. My name is VTerrillHill. I come live Mondays and Thursdays. If you want to be notified when I come live, text VTerrillHill to 833-458-3658. Text VTerrillHill to 833-458-3658 to be notified when I come live, okay? Thank you guys. Y'all showed out today, man. Thank you guys for assisting me and loving me and honoring my voice and honoring my presentation. I used to be embarrassed of all of my hollering and yelling. Now I just holler and yell freely. So thank y'all for honoring my presentation. If you still want to participate, you can, but I'm going to be honest. We superseded our goal today. Thank you so much. The Cash App is SafeSpaceVTH. PayPal and Zelle is info@VTerrillHill. The Venmo is at VTerrillHill. P.O. Box 221, Winston, North Carolina 27377 is the P.O. Box. Send me something nice. I'll open something nice. If you want to be a part of the private community, we're going to do an after show. After show, be wild over there, y'all. It's like family reunion over there. Click the join button if you're on YouTube, desktop or laptop, right up under This video is a join button. Everybody else, click the Linktree link in the video description box of the video you're watching right now. If you want to be a part of my spirituality and consciousness community, where I teach every Thursday at 3 p.m., and I pray and prophesy every Saturday at 9:30 a.m., both Eastern Standard Time, go to www.joinsafespace.com. All right. It's 4 days for free. You'll enjoy yourself over there. Email me info@VTerrillHill.com, info@VTerrillHill.com. Do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. I appreciate you guys, all of you that are on here, whether you agree with me or not. Thank you for patronizing this platform today. I hope to see you. Now, I will be traveling this week. We get on the road tomorrow. And I won't be back until late Friday. But as long as the internet is proper, I will be live on this Thursday, as long as the internet is proper, all right? Until the next time, y'all be all the way blessed. We're going to go out listening to the remainder of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. We'll do our commercials, and then private community, I'll see y'all at 11:15. Y'all be all the way blessed.
If America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghanies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, and when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
This isn't just another church event. This is Impartation Conference, March 13th through 15th in Atlanta, Georgia. And this time, it's personal.
We are building a safe space where you can love God without fear, a space where you're not judged, but seen, heard, and honored for who you are.
This is your moment to grow, not just in spirit, but life. The clarity, the shift, the alignment is already happening.
And those dreams you buried, we're reviving them. We're breaking mental caps, tearing down limits, and helping you step into the version of you that was always possible.
This is more than a conference. It's a homecoming for your soul. Break free, grow deep, dream bold. Join us March 13th to 15th at the Renaissance Atlanta Airport Gateway Hotel. Register now at impartationconference.org.
Safe Space, refuge for growth and healing. Want to be connected to all that Safe Space has to offer? Join our email community. Stay in the loop with inspirational insights and updates. Join our email community and connect with like-minded individuals on the path to self-discovery. Sign up now.
Find your tribe in a safe, supportive space. Join the Safe Space private community and connect with others who get it. We're waiting for you. Stay connected wherever you are with lives and video drops. Text VTerrillHill to 833-458-3658 for instant updates and powerful insights. Join the text community now. Curious about what's next? Book an intuitive tarot reading with VTerrillHill and get the clarity you need. Your future awaits. Heal from within and transform your life. Schedule a soul healing consultation and take the first step towards wholeness. Start your journey today.
Click the Linktree link inside of the description box connected to this video for all of what the Safe Space universe has to offer.